What is the use of a consultant into an existing project?
That's a very good question. That's a very good question.
Normally, if you see, like all the new projects would have a PMC, would have a consultant, would have financial cost consultants, everyone. But why someone should choose a consultant in their existing
exactly. So what happens? What happens during as the building ages?
Okay.
The owners of the property, the tenants, or the facility management companies, they encounter multiple issues. These issues can be due to multiple reasons. It can be either due to design flaw, it can be due to poor workmanship, it can be due to the aging of the building and the systems. This is one thing. Secondly, there are many projects where over the period of time the client wants to carry out some changes. Either they want to do extension, they want to modify some portion of the building. So in this case, you need a speciality to do the design and to provide a solution. So I would say this is a very challenging field. You will not see many people in this field. So
why do you think like that? Like
that's one of the reason, the challenging part of the nature of the business we are in this. So see, what happens when you design any project from scratch, you don't have much constraints. You have defined guidelines. You have standard operating procedures in the new construction. You don't have constraints because you are starting everything from scratch and you have defined guidelines. Exactly, you have defined guidelines. But when it comes to a retrofit project, you have many physical constraints. You have many technical constraints. Why? Because when the building or any facility, when it's originally designed, not necessarily the designer will keep these things in mind. Expansions, modifications, change of the usage, the nature of the usage. Let's say initially it was designed for any normal. Let's say we have a building and we have some commercial units and it was designed for office or any normal business. But later on, the client wants to convert it into an F&B outlet. So the service requirement for a normal office or let's say or any normal shop and F&B outlet, it's entirely different.
So you mean to say, like, when you do the complete changes from some existing thing to a new thing, there might be an involvement of surveys, existing
exactly. I mean it's mandatory. So when we do the design, see, so that's what like I was telling you before. When you start with a new project, it's like from scratch. When we do a retrofit design, we need to go and carry out a survey. What is the existing condition? We need to understand what are the existing constraints. So it runs in two parallel stages. One is we do the concept design as per the client's requirement. Then we go to site. We look at it from a perspective of implementation of this design requirement.
And you are the implementers?
No. See, we are the designers. But if your design is impractical and it cannot be executed at site, then it's of no use.
Exactly.
So and see, it's I would say not many consultants think of it. Yeah, many do, but most of the consultant miss it out. See, if a guideline or a standard defines some design criteria, it doesn't mean that it will exactly fit at the site. Because you need to.
So it's like a kind of tailored.
It's a tailor. I would not say tailor-made, but there are practical constraints. Because see why I am telling you this and why this thought comes to our mind. I have worked in execution part as well, so I know very well what are the challenges as a contractor you face while doing the execution of that project. So when you have that point of view, you know exactly, this if this is impractical and it's not feasible at site, then it's of no use.
Exactly.
So it's very important that you have a concept design, you have site, so you go and survey the existing conditions. You need to check the capacities. You need electricity. Okay, before the electrical requirements were entirely different. Now it's different. You need to check for fresh air requirements, because let's say when we go for an F&B outlet, you have a kitchen. It's having entirely different design in terms of fresh air, exhaust air, ventilation, air conditioning. So you need to check all these parameters at site. So when you implement your concept design, it's it's practically possible and feasible for execution.
So if I ask you, are you a retro consultant?
See, it's
And one more thing, like before saying this, I would ask basically that why don't you think that the normal consultants cannot do your job?
exactly. So answering your first question, are we a retrofit consultant? We wouldn't label ourselves as a retrofit consultants.
Okay.
We are consultants. We are capable of doing new as well as retrofit project.
Okay.
But we label ourselves, or rather I would say we market ourselves as a retrofit consultant, because not many people can do it.
Okay.
Okay,
Why?
it's
Coming
a
back to the
specialty.
second,
Yeah, it's a specialty which requires a deep knowledge of practical problems which are faced in the execution stage.
Okay. So this means like normally, now I am going like kind of understanding your part. Like I would say most of the consultants who are in the market, they don't do after sales service, right?
Exactly. No, they do have a design liability, but they have multiple exit clauses. Okay. If, by using them, they can easily put the blame on the contractor. But see, again, we work with our clients, not just doing our roles and responsibilities contractually.
Okay.
But we intend to support the client in all the problems.
Okay.
We intend to stand by them as a business partner, not just as a client and contractor consultant. So we intend to stand with them in order to resolve the issues, in order to complete the job satisfactorily. Okay. As our name defines, your strongest partner. So we mean it.
The bond is not just to
exactly. So we mean it.
How powerful power need to break any
exactly. Okay. So this is again, if you look it from a perspective that we want to satisfy client. Again, it's beneficial for the client.
Okay.
And for us.
Okay.
Because we do have a recurring business model.
Okay.
We have clients which they work with us and they come back to us. They want to work with us.